I am Arun Gidu, and I've been working for the last 30 plus years with either computer systems or supply chain computer systems or as a supply chain practitioner. In my second video, I had spoken about automating PO creation. Link to that video is in the description below. That automation helps in making PO creation process more efficient. In this video, I will talk about how we can automate and make the process of following up on delayed POs more efficient. Please note that I will also call POs with outdated information as delayed POs because subsequent actions may be delayed as a result of these POs having outdated information. And that is why early follow-ups are needed and important. I will illustrate this with an example in the slide after the next. And the other question is, why automate? As I said before, if we have a few POs a day, automation may not provide significant advantage. But if we have 10,000 PO lines a day, as with my previous employer, and even if only 10% of the PO lines are delayed or have outdated information, and if we were to follow up with a phone call, we will end up with more than 300 phone calls a day to make if we assume that a PO has about 3 lines. And if we assume that we take about 10 minutes per call, that will result in about 50 hours of effort in phone calls every day to follow up on delayed. And that is not very efficient. And I will talk about an efficient way to go about following up on delayed POs. First, let us focus on the document flow between the supplier and the distributor. We will assume that all of these communications take place via EDI, which is the lowest hanging fruit on the path towards efficiency. First, the distributor places the PO and the supplier responds with a POA or the purchase order acknowledgement, which contains the expected ship date. If the expected ship date changes, the supplier sends another POA with the new expected ship date. After one or more POAs, the supplier ships the product and sends an ASN, which has the line shipped, quantity shipped, date of shipment, and location of shipment. And quickly following the ASN, an invoice is sent, and the invoice is paid by the distributor if the goods received matches the PO and invoice. If all of these were to work as here, and it does in my experience about 90% of the cases, then there is almost no need to do follow-ups. Follow-ups are needed when this document flow does not happen, in my experience about 10% of the cases, or in hopefully rare situations where the expected ship date is much later than expected or needed. Now that we know the document flow, let us see how not having updated information can lead to less than ideal outcomes or even worse. Let us assume that we are the distributor. An order for a specific type of needle, syringe, and alcohol pads comes in from our customer, who is a medical clinic or which is a medical clinic running clinical trials where sick patients come in to receive investigational therapy. We, the distributor, have the specific type of syringe and alcohol pads needed for the trial, but not the exact type of needle that is required. So we place an order with the manufacturer. In the past, the manufacturer has delivered this product within 2 weeks. So we tell our customer that the products will be shipped on October 16th in this instance from the distributor site and will arrive on October 18th at the clinic. Based on this information, the clinic schedules patients to arrive starting November 1st. Now, the manufacturer is also out of these specific type of needle, but they are planning a production run and will have stock to deliver by November 15th. So our information that we will receive this product from our supplier by October 15th is now outdated. Now, if we do not have an efficient process to identify these kind of lines and efficiently follow up and get the updated information expeditiously, it's possible that we may not realize that this PO is delayed until it's too late for us to find alternatives or to let the customer know in time for them to reschedule patient visit. And we'll have this unfortunate situation where the sick patients turn up at the clinic, but there is no way to administer the treatment without the required needles. Conversely, if we have an efficient process to obtain the information and act on it quickly, then maybe the distributor could have tried to obtain the needle from other manufacturers, failing which they could have informed the clinic in time for them to reschedule the patient visit. So here is an outline of an efficient process to follow up on delayed POs. The important thing here is to perform all of the steps programmatically so that all the delayed lines can be identified correctly and the process can be repeated perhaps every week or maybe twice a week or as required. So first, identify all open lines whose expected ship date is in the past and for which we have no ASN. Of course, open lines are all lines that are not fully received. Second, we identify the supplier contact for each of the lines. If there are 100 lines from the first step that we have identified as delayed, there may be perhaps 30 different suppliers to whom these PO lines were sent. Now, the third step is to have an online portal where these lines can be listed along with space for supplier to fill in the expected date of shipment and other information here, which are the columns in green. And of course, the columns which are not in green are pre-populated for the supplier to recognize the lines, the PO lines. Now, remind every supplier identified in step 2 with a link to this portal that displays only their PO lines so that they can quickly identify their PO lines and fill in the requested information. Once the supplier fills in the details on the green columns and hits the save button, have a program update the PO with the data entered. This online portal effectively acts as entry points for de facto POAs and ASN. So then we have now the latest information from the supplier for each of these POs, and we can act on this information. Either if it's, we can let the customer know, or we can find alternative suppliers if needed, and therefore be in a better position to fulfill customer orders in time. And of course, we can, because it's programmatic, we can repeat these steps as often as we need. And I would recommend that we do this on a predetermined interval, maybe weekly or twice a week, or even perhaps every day if needed. So in conclusion, we should not have outdated information on a PO. Process to correct outdated information should be as efficient and as automated as possible. In fact, we should aspire to make every process as efficient and as automated as possible. Why? Because as I've said before, productivity gains achieved by efficient process help in providing better value for our customer, which in turn will help us win in the marketplace. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. I especially welcome questions like, hey, this is the scenario I am facing. How do I come up with an efficient solution? I'll be happy to answer these kind of questions as much as I can. Thank you.